Denver, a city built on the edge of the Rockies. It's easy to see why one would want to live here, but to build a great city, there needs to be a reliable supply of water. That was the challenge of Denver's early settlers: supply enough water to a city in the dry plains of Colorado. In Denver's early days, prospectors and traders settled on the banks of Cherry Creek in the South Platte River. Those pioneers included a group led by Walter S. Cheesman.
They soon saw that the South Platte River was not going to be adequate for that because it tended to dry up about August. And so they needed a year-round supply of water.
So Cheesman looked to the mountains and a way to store water from the Platte.
Because of the terrain in Colorado, the typical thing is that if you have a heavy snowmelt, it will flood every spring. But by the end of the summer, the water is all gone. So then, you've got to figure out what are you going to do for fall and winter until it floods again. And then it's going to be uncontrolled. So to have a reliable water supply, there's no choice in this part of the country except to impound water.
In the late 1800s, Cheesman's group scouted the Platte looking for a good spot to build a dam.
These were an interesting and hardy group of people, and when they were surveying for this dam, it was before the end of the 19th century. It was in the 1890s. And they were looking for, as they always are, for a good spot in the canyon wall where the bedrock is solid and of the right material that would be an efficient place to put a dam.
In just a few years, their vision would become reality.
They were great visionaries. They planned for themselves and many generations beyond themselves.
Cheesman knew that the majority of Colorado's precipitation falls in the mountains of the west. So he needed to capture the runoff, store the water, and bring it to the plains. He would use the Platte to move the water, but storing it was a bigger challenge. Cheesman knew it would be hard work, but went ahead with his dream and started to build a dam near what is now Deckers. At the turn of the century, crews started cutting a tunnel out of the canyon wall to divert the natural flow of the river. Then they started filling the canyon. As the water went up, barges with cranes on top stacked 4-ton granite stones, one on top of another. In 1905, Cheesman Dam was complete. 96 years old now, it's an awesome site, 221 feet high, 670 feet across, and still standing strong. It can store 79,000 acre-feet of water. Today, water is stored in scenic and remote Cheesman Reservoir, then it's released on the other side. Thousands of gallons at a time. It's an impressive sight not seen by most. The water blasts out of a pipe and is returned to the Platte. The water continues downstream and heads into the treatment facilities. The long journey from the mountains finally ends at your faucet. Nearly 100 years later, the vision of one man has transformed a settlement on the plains into one of America's premier cities.